Samara, where of course England plays Sweden today. I am in a very strange place. It's about 15 minutes away from town. And as you know, Samara was close to foreigners until 1990. And because it was the home of the aircraft and space programs and industry. So everything was very mysterious and very private. And this, I believe, was one of the hotels or residences for the workers. I'll tell you how it goes. You see the main road, and all of a sudden there's a little road that is not even, hasn't got even tarmac, and then you just have to go like this with the taxi. I'm thinking there's no signals or anything, and then it just eventually gets to a place that has got a gate, iron gate, no sign of being an hotel of any kind, and all very dark. Anyway, the rooms are spacious, but it does feel like a place where workers have been living here for a while. There's a swimming pool, and that's all the amenities there are. There's no bar or anything. So yeah, it looks like a restaurant that has been converted into a hotel. I'll show you later if you're interested. But I've been here and I'm on my way now to the stadium. I know it's early, but I just want to taste the atmosphere and do some work from the stadium, which looks amazing from the distance if you got the opportunity to see a picture of it, and if you're not around here. So England, Sweden, and a completely new test for this England side that so far have passed all the tests. The biggest one will be, of course, that Sweden, even though they may pressure high sometimes, especially in the beginning, hoping for a mistake from Maguire, from Stones, from Walker, and realizing that actually England have struggled with building from the back. They may do that sometimes, but they will be more comfortable defending in their own half, and that's where the big test comes from England. I was laughed at in my tweet about the difficulties that I could see, that I was already seeing, even against Panama, for moves that involved the front four men. I think everybody is now wise to the fact that actually that hasn't worked so well. I think of the 79 passes, I saw that in The Guardian today, of 79 passes that Harry Kane got, it's only about 30 or so that came from Lingard or from Dele Alli, and only 2 or 3 from the wings, from Trippier, from Ashley Young. Not enough service to Harry Kane, and that comes from the way that England is building up. If you point out key moments in which they created danger, they put a ball in behind, that comes from Henderson most of the time. So I personally would put a midfielder, an extra midfielder, perhaps Eric Dyer as a holding midfielder and Henderson a little bit further up instead of Lingard or Dele Alli. But we will see. The other thing I would do, now that you ask me, is to change Ashley Young, who of course is a right-footed and plays on the left-hand side, and replace him with Danny Rose, because he's happy going forward, Danny Rose, and he will be well protected going back. So with some of my Russian friends has just arrived. So with that possibility, you open up the pitch, and that's something that's going to be absolutely crucial. The distribution of the ball has to be quicker. The danger, a lot of danger has to come down the wings, and a lot of what's going to happen today will have to do with bravery, because you may not see the opportunity of that pass clearly, but if he opens up, go for it. And that will be the difference between a conservative England, a fearful England that we see in the past, or the one that we're seeing at the moment, in which they try things. So they have to improve, perhaps with an extra midfielder or somebody that thinks more like a midfielder. What I mean by that is that when he has the ball, doesn't always have to go forward. If you've got Lingard and Dele Alli has missed 20 odd passes already, but it's normal because the ball comes to him in difficult circumstances, not after having been moved around with patience. It's ball to him, and you find him surrounded by rivals. It's normal that he loses it, not his fault. So with a midfielder, at least you'll have the ability, unlike perhaps Lingard and Dele Alli, of all right, let's start another move, let's go to the other side and then to the other side, be a little bit more patient within a faster pace. So basically, what we're seeing, it's a better England is needed, and up till now, it has been an England that every obstacle that they faced, they'd overcome it. Mostly psychological. You have seen a team. I don't have to tell you this. You've seen it clearly. A team that's strong mentally, and that's so crucial because this World Cup, as you can see, it's about competing more than playing well, or being a top side, or having a top player, competing well. It's a cup competition. I think it was Gabriele Marcotti that told me that he started making calculations of the goal difference of top sides and small sides and compare them from previous World Cups. And he says the difference is smaller than ever. So football has become more democratic, more egalitarian in the World Cup, even though at club level it's a completely different story, where the riches are getting richer and always winning. At the World Cup level, it's all balanced out. Reasons for it? Well, it's the end of a season, so not everybody's sharp, and of course, in every team there'll be up and downs, and some will be fitter than others. But certainly, it looks like you look at the top stars; they seem, having been used so much during the season, you seem having difficulties with the sharpness. But also, everybody knows how to defend. And the teams that are going forward are teams that have got both quality, individual quality, but as a team, they've found answers to all the problems in a game that's difficult to find at the national team level. Of course, the biggest representation of it's Belgium, who were fantastic against Brazil. That first half was absolutely brilliant. Roberto kept the three at the back. Put Fellaini in, of course, knowing that he could release the ball if they weren't able to link up well from the back, knowing that Brazil struggles with in behind the midfielders in behind, especially Fernandinho. There will be spaces there, and the way they counter-attacked, everything they did was perfect. In the second half, it was about suffering, and they did suffer, and they come out with the goods. You have to say Brazil had so many chances; it needed 8 amazing saves from Courtois, who's proven to be the goalkeeper of the tournament so far. And as I told you, he explained himself that he didn't mean what he said about Pickford. It was the way that was reported. It was a bit of a tongue-in-cheek comment that, of course, if you take the tone out, it just looks like an arrogant thing to say about Pickford and his foot going all over the place and him not being tall enough. He didn't mean it like that. If you know Courtois, and I told you in another video, had spoken to him, and that's why I knew. He just basically didn't mean that at all. Anyway, he apologized. He had apologized already, I think I told you as well. He asked his press officer to ask the England press officer to tell Pickford that, wasn't meant that way. But anyway, those things spice things up and help Pickford as well, I bet, because it's like a little bit of a challenge. He thinks that way. I'll show you. So Brazil were fantastic, though. They were brilliant. They were very good. Not just good, very good. They created and created and created and created. They had chances. But the performance of Belgium, especially of Hazard at the end, De Bruyne, of course, as well. But Hazard, how he just said, okay, this game is mine. Just give me the ball. I'll make sure that we don't lose it. I'll make sure that I stretch Brazil a little bit more. I'll make sure that I go down if I get touched. And those kind of things that make our performance legendary. And he was brilliant. I'm so glad for Roberto. So many years of talking about football. All those years in which we saw each other every weekend when he came to Sky to do Spanish football. And the conversations were long and detailed. And I know that 3 hours that the taxi took him from, at the time, I think it was Swansea. Well, he must have been at Swansea, but Wigan as well. He will spend those 3 hours and a half in the car on the way to Sky with the computer. Sometimes I will drive back with him on a trip to the northwest, and he will be in the computer and show me things, videos, clips. So many hours, so much work, and so much fascination for the game, so much interest, so much curiosity. A lot of people are saying, oh, he should be considered a coach for Spain. The problem with that is that, and he knows this, he's not very well known in Spain. He's known more now. And the decision will have to be made quite quickly. But his Stoke is recent in Spain as well, finally, deservedly so as well. They may go for another national coach for now, but he's young and there'll be other opportunities. Perhaps what he should do I don't know, what do you do? If you take Belgium to the final, you should leave, shouldn't you? What else can you do? But I'll catch up with him at some point, and you know, well done to him. France were efficient. There is no magic about France at the moment. Even Mbappé was not needed in a way. It was more a game for Griezmann and his link-up play. It's a team made now for Giroud, if you like. The fact that they've got a centre forward means that becomes the focus of the attack sometimes, far too often. So a cross gets delivered or a long ball gets delivered. There's not much magic, as I said, on France. It's down to the fact, of course, that the Shams ask the fullbacks not to go forward too often. The centre midfielders tend to be quite defensive, and all in all, it's about winning, not so much a style. He doesn't care what people say of the style. So they've gone through, of course, and now they face Belgium. I see Belgium have got different ways of winning and different abilities to actually beat France, and also Lukaku is just fantastic. His pace, his sharpness. It's interesting that Roberto was talking about Belgium, about how he saw in the eyes of his players that there was a hunger and the possibility of going through, the belief as well. All that has been crucial. The work that Roberto's put in is, number one, to clean up the changing room. Only people that fit in are there. Two, that brings new leaderships, of course. If people that were loud or thought they were leaders, they're not there anymore. Others have to raise to the challenge. I think the three at the back are really considered leaders, but there's another kind of leadership that's come in with quiet De Bruyne, with a happy Hazard, with a focus Lukaku, and Roberto's just let the whole thing brew and grew on its own naturally. And you can see that everybody's taking responsibility for the roles. It's not about being a leader and then just shout. It's about performing and showing it on the pitch, and that's exactly what's happening. Belgium look world beaters. But we are in Samara, and we are going to see England. Sweden, of course, we didn't speak much about them, but Grampist at the back is a centre back who is also a danger in set pieces. Sweden know how to defend set pieces, but something is happening in set pieces, and England have been very intelligent about it. They know that they cannot be grabbed, but they don't mind being grabbed, if you know what I mean. They don't mind, and if they do, they make sure that everybody sees that they've been grabbed. It's intelligent play. I'm not saying that is bad. In fact, it's very good. It's playing to the rules. I'm playing to the norm. I'm playing to the kind of football that we're seeing now. So if you are grabbed, make sure that everybody sees that you're being grabbed. And one of the positives of VAR, of course, is that less and less of the grabbing is going to take place if referees continue being this strong. So, for instance, if it happens, I don't know, at Old Trafford, a Man United is doing it to a Man United defender is doing it to a West Brom defender, and it's the last minute, then it has to be given. I know there won't be VAR, but one that is. In Spain there will be VAR next season, and if at the Santiago Bernabeu in the last minute Leganés player gets grabbed, he has to be given as a penalty. So at the end is the decision of the referees, of course, but as I say, there is intelligent play being done by England all over the pitch now. And it has to do with the fact that the others do it, why not us as well? But it won't be that will give the victory to England, but certainly will all be down to the little details like that one. A bunch of little details will take one of the sides to win this one, Sweden or England. I say, come on, England. Just because I know the guys, I know some of the players very well, I know Gareth Southgate, and yes, they're a nice bunch of lads, and it is a historical moment for things to happen. Talking of which, the coming home thing, which I think I agree with most of you, I probably got it wrong. It was not just it's coming home because football, that's where it belongs to, you saying. I think some of it is, but okay. I take your word for it. I also say that this is tongue-in-cheek, I can see that, and but it's also hope. and I read in the Guardian today as well that, or somebody on Twitter, I think, that certainly the hysteria that's taking place in England is logical because it's a step before the semi-finals of the World Cup, 3 games away from winning it. Also because Gareth Southgate and the guys are nice people, but also because everything is very extreme right now. You have to be in one side or the other, no middle ground. So with that extremism taking place, of course everybody's going to celebrate. Of course everybody's gonna play that hashtag, it's coming home. Partly as a fun thing, partly because yes, it's our moment and we want to let the world know that it's our moment. I hope it is. I hope it is because I would certainly like a better England to beat Sweden and to increase the performances as well, not just winning by a bad goal. I'd like to see a better England. And I think, I've got the impression that you're going to see that tonight. All right, let's go to the stadium. Bye.